But I think what I could not remove was the theme of hope. Because this is just who I am. And that's how I see the world. And I know what you're thinking. What hope really are you talking about? I get it. I understand. If you look at the world around you, you'll see a lot of reasons to feel a sense of despair. Homelessness and poverty and corruption, the failure of government to deliver on the basic principles of serving its own people, the Epstein files, the opioid epidemic, mental health issues, the Epstein files, and now the war on Iran just broke out, and the situation in Gaza has not really improved much. It's just not as much in the news anymore. So yes, there is a lot of reasons to be upset, and a lot of reasons to look at the world and figure, when is this ever going to get better? But hey, that's why we're here tonight, isn't it? We're here so that we're able to rub off each other, so that we can lend and receive hope, so that we can give support to one another. And quite honestly, I look at this room and I see all reasons to be hopeful. As a Muslim man, as a father, as someone who has so much love for humanity, who believes that good always prevails in the world, I reject genocide. And I reject any supremacist ideology. And I reject the modern incarnation of the colonial project, whichever shape it takes. These are my values. These are my values. This is what I stand for. And I believe this is what the majority of my community stands for. Nonetheless, my heart is still open to have a dialogue with people with whom I have disagreements and differences. At the superficial level, but certainly at the fundamental level. And that is why we're here tonight. The Quran, for us Muslims, is the foundation of our ethical apparatus. And I want to share with you a verse from the Quran that inspires me to have hope every single day. In that verse, God says, وَلَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ بَعْدَ إِصْلَاحِهَا وَادْعُوهُ خَوْفًا وَطَمَعًا إِنَّ رَحْمَةَ اللَّهِ قَرِيبٌ مِنَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. In this beautiful verse, and I'll translate it to English, God says, do not corrupt the earth after I have perfected it. And pray unto me with fear and longing. Indeed, the mercy of God is so close to those who do good, to those who carry themselves with excellence. Such beautiful words from Almighty God that, again, inspire us as Muslims. And I wanted to share with you tonight. Whether you are a believer or not, I hope that you will still find some solace and comfort in these beautiful words. God said, I have already perfected the world for you. Why should you corrupt it? I have given you this beautiful little blue drop with its vast landscapes, with its lush green, with its flowing rivers and lakes and oceans and mountains and trees, with all the beautiful minerals that it bears, with the incredible wildlife, with the unlimited possibilities. It's beautiful. I gave it to you. Use it well, God says. Don't corrupt it. But at the end of the day, we're not animals. We need more than biological sustenance. So the way by which God preserved this earth for us and perfected it for our use is by giving us the moral systems that are important for us to find guidance and direction. The teachings of the great prophets and the great scriptures and the great teachers that remain with us today, guiding us, giving us strength and resilience in very difficult times. And then God says, pray unto me with fear and longing. Fear of more corruption and longing for betterment. And then he says, and this is the part of the verse that really, really matters tonight, as we try to search for that hope in dark times. God says, indeed, the mercy of God is so near those who carry themselves with excellence. In other words, if you carry yourself with love and compassion and excellence and operate based on your moral values, not how the world treats you. Keep your head high. Remain tenacious in the face of adversity. And believe that pain is transforming to you. That perhaps God is going to deliver you with His providence, either by the removal of the difficult conditions, or perhaps by making you stronger so that you suffer with dignity, so that you don't lose yourself in the midst of adversity. In other words, if the United States federal government, or the United Nations, or the World Bank, or international order, if they fail to give us hope, we can find hope in our simple, basic acts of excellence with one another. You know what gives me hope? What gives me hope, and this is a matter of perspective, right? We have to refocus. Otherwise we'll lose ourselves to the barrage of negative news. What gives me hope is teachers. And unfortunately, it's not that many of them anymore. But teachers who wake up in the morning knowing that they're underpaid, unappreciated, yet they still go to school in order to teach little kids how to be good human beings, and how to maintain their values, and how to be good citizens in their community. What gives me hope is doctors. Again, not that many of those anymore, who are not looking for some lucrative job, but rather get up in the morning and go to their workplaces in order to truly save life and improve human condition. That gives me hope. You know what gives me hope is police officers, and I pray that there's going to be a lot more of those that are completely unpoliticized, that get up in the morning and hear a beautiful prayer for safety from their families and then leave the house, hoping that they'll come back at the end of the day to serve and defend and protect. For real, truthfully, that gives me hope. What gives me hope is the men and women of faith that go to their mosques and their churches and their temples every day, still maintaining their positive attitudes and their heads high, hoping that the world is still good, even if it presents itself in a different light, learning the grace of God and teaching it to people. Brothers and sisters, these are the things that continue to give me hope. And quite honestly, this room right here is a great source of hope for me. While literally the world out there is on fire, the Muslims, the Jews, the Christians, the Hindus, the Buddhists, and people of other faiths, they came to this room in order to respond favorably to the invitation of their Muslim neighbors to partake in an iftar meal in the month of Ramadan. That does not give you hope. I'm not going to mention names, but in the last couple of years, I received in my office scores of friends from the Interfaith community. You know, people from the Jewish community, from the Christian community, who came to me to affirm our friendship, to tell me, I'm Jewish, but I don't stand for what's happening in Gaza. And I made this known to my rabbis of my congregations. I heard that from their mouths, and it made my day, my month, my year. God bless them. I've had pastors who came and told me literally, and I say verbatim, I have made a career out of Islamophobia. I'm ashamed of myself. Because when I got to know the Muslims and break bread with them, I realized that I have more in common with them as friends than I have with some people in my own community. That's got to give you hope, doesn't it? God bless them. We're all ordinary people, brothers and sisters. I don't see any billionaires. If you're a billionaire, please raise your hand. I don't see any billionaires. I don't see any members of the federal cabinet here. I don't see the 1%. I see us as ordinary folk coming together as friends to break bread, to exchange a meal, to speak from the heart, to have fun, to crack a joke, to remember and be reminded that there's still good in the world to celebrate. There's still beautiful things. They just need to be polished, right? Our voices may not sound so loud in the halls of power, But I tell you one thing. We possess in our hands the absolute most powerful asset. You are the most powerful asset that this country has. You know what that is? You are citizens of a democracy. You wield the greatest power. You wield the greatest power and you hold the strings. You just have to start acting like it. Citizens need to start acting like it. We constantly complain about corrupt leadership, yet we're not stepping in to fill the void of that leadership. Why not? Why do we keep talking about things instead of walking the walk? Support good people across the board. It was said earlier that the men and women of faith are marginalized. And I'll tell you, we marginalize ourselves because we hide who we are. Instead of, with great humility, carry who we are everywhere we go as a force of good, and a force of transformation, and a force of change. To mitigate the situation, to allay the fears that everyone feels around us. That's my message to you tonight. In this beautiful month of Ramadan, I keep my head high. And you know what? It may be true that the world out there is on fire. Missiles are going in every direction. My heart bleeds for the people of Iran. We all know that regime change does not work. We've seen it in the past. It failed flat on its face every single time. No matter how bad the regime is, change comes from the people themselves. Maybe we can help them. But we're not going to help them by bombing schools and killing little girls. That's not going to work. The world may be on fire. Seeing the footage coming from Dubai, where my sister lives, was absolutely terrifying. In my wildest dreams, that is one place I never thought would be hit by missiles. Yeah? God shows us every day that nothing is stable in this world. Everything is fragile. We know that for sure. If the world out there is on fire, I accept that. But you know what? For the next hour and a half, right here, in this room, in this little bubble of ours, we're going to maintain hope. We're going to connect and bond. We're going to exchange phone numbers. We're going to build lasting relationships. And we're going to remain hopeful and positive that God's guidance will always take care of us, that there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and that it is through the hard work of men and women of faith that the world can actually change for the better. God bless you and thank you so much.